Hey there, kitties. Thanks for checking me out again. Of course, we've got now Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde is the latest in the Kotobukiya Bishoujo line, and I'm happy to have her. She's another X-girl, which is what we need to be completing here. The more X-girls we get, the better for me. That's what I want to see first, all them X-girls come out. So, we're one step closer here. Real quick, before we get started, I want to mention that I've had a Tumblr account for a while now that I haven't been using for anything, and I figure I'll use it for my review stuff. So, when I get stuff in and gonna be, anything kind of figure toy related, I can post stuff there. And if you want to check me out, then I'll put a link here in the video, and you can check me out there, follow me there for hopefully more frequent updates. Also, before we get started, more Gundam. I finished up. I got this Gundam aged Titus. I love this guy. He's pretty rad. And then also Isle Strike. I'm not sure exactly how to say his name. I don't really follow the show. I just think the models are cool, so I've been building these. So a couple more complete. And I've got the heavy arms. These are both 1/144 scale, and I've got the heavy arms 1/100 scale. That's the one with all the gun pods and the big old mini gun. That one's going to be awesome. Anywho, moving along here. So here's Kitty Pryde. So Kitty Pryde, for me, has never really been a key character in X-Men. She kind of has become so in the last few years, but she wasn't really on X-Men for a little while. Like especially when I started getting into X-Men in the mid to late '90s, she wasn't really a big part of it. She was like on Excalibur, and I never really got into that book. But she's kind of come and gone, and she's had a bunch of different iterations, different versions. And this costume, I thought at first when I first seen it, I thought, well, that's kind of weird. But since I've had time to kind of reflect on it, this is about as iconic a costume as she's ever had. I think it would be probably more odd, I guess, to go with another costume other than this. Unless there's one out there that I'm not quite thinking of. Anywho, let's take a look at our box. So, Shunya's art on this is pretty typical Shunya art that you'd see nowadays. I have to imagine that, I don't know really anything about Shunya Yamashita, I'm sorry to say. I don't know if he's into Marvel characters or Western comics at all, X-Men, but I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that he's not too familiar with Kitty Pryde. But he draws one mean Lockheed, I can tell you that. He looks really cool in the illustration here. And she looks good. There are little perspective things, I think. Maybe it's perspective, I don't know, but that her hand's a little big. You compare it to her shoulders and face, and it seems a little odd, but I think that might be just perspective. I've heard people kind of griping about that, but I think Shunya is the heart and soul of this line, and we would be nowhere without him. And I can forgive a seemingly giant hand every now and then. So pretty typical stuff here. Interestingly enough, they just show an available now Black Widow, Covert Ops, Marvel Bishoujo in the box. No coming soon. And I think that's where we stand actually with the Marvel Bishoujo stuff. I don't think they've announced anything else for Marvel Bishoujo. I don't think. I could be mistaken. Well, I'm sure that it's going to change in the next week or so. We've got Comic-Con coming up, and Koto's going to be there. They don't have a panel this year, unfortunately. They did at WonderCon this year, but they're not going to have one at Comic-Con, which is unfortunate. I'd really like to attend one. But, so here's Kitty Pryde. So this is a pretty good figure. I like her pose, and it's kind of, it's relatively dynamic. It's not action-packed or anything, but definitely a lot of motion to it. It's kind of reflected in her hair. It seems like Kitty Pryde is really impressive, or most impressive, when she's doing her thing, and running through walls and jumping through electronics and blowing them up, that kind of thing. In case you don't know, Kitty Pryde, or Shadowcat, as she's probably maybe better known as, at least otherwise known as, her mutant ability is to become intangible and phase through things, through the floor, through solid objects, not be hit by bullets, that kind of thing. Things just pass through her, and that's where I think the biggest point I have to make on this figure is that they missed a huge opportunity for her to be phasing through something. Lockheed is a kind of a cool, add-on, I guess. He's a pretty cool little dragon, but Lockheed we've seen before in other figures. Seems kind of lame. And as a result, the figures that they've made of Shadowcat, I'm not sure what exactly they're supposed to do, but they all come with Lockheed, because it seems like toy makers can't really figure out what else to do with her. And I guess this is really no exception. Because she could be phasing through something. I think when you have a statue, you have an opportunity to do that kind of cool stuff, and I think they've dropped the ball on this, to be honest. So much so that I had somehow convinced myself that this year's Comic-Con exclusive was going to be a version of her that was phasing somehow. At least like maybe some clear plastic or something, which wouldn't have really made a lot of sense, because that's not how it works, but something. I expected something out of it, but instead we got Harley Quinn without a mask. So I can't help but feel like they could have done away with the dragon and gave her something to be passing through. And I don't know. It could be something simple. It could be just a bank of a control board or something with like electronics shorting out, maybe a screen blowing up or something like that. We've seen instances of that in lots of things that she's in illustrated in comics and in like trading cards and all this stuff. Kitty Pryde's been around for a long time, so to not have that in a statue, I think, is a blown opportunity. But if we ignore that and just kind of focus on the figure, I think it's done pretty well. I like her face, although her face will look different at different angles, like that, for instance. Like, her like that looks like a different person to me than from that angle. They look like two different people to me. Her cheeks are nice and pudgy. Maybe not pudgy is not the right word, but she has some full cheeks, which are fine. But it's just a little odd, because that's not really represented in the illustration, so it's hard to know exactly how they'll play out in 3 dimensions. But not too bad. I just think she looks a little different than I would have expected at certain angles. But she looks good. I think the sculpt is good. Unfortunately, we have this same hair seam that they can't seem to get rid of. I really don't understand this. It seems like they could easily sculpt that out. Why does it have to be a straight line every time? I don't understand. I don't know. Seems weird that isn't as that should be invisible nowadays, but I guess that's not something they care about. But I do, damn it. Costume is pretty nice. It's nothing like mind-blowing, but it's a good representation of the costume that she's often seen in. Her boots here, a little odd. This, there's no. She has a heel on here, but it's filled in. I'm guessing it's for stability on this bottom foot, but we've seen other figures with heels like this where it's not filled in like that. It's just a straight gap like this one. That's kind of odd. But she's painted well. She's kind of a shiny black, but not like Catwoman, where there was like some metallic mixed in. This is just kind of a glossy, but not too glossy black paint. And then the yellow on her has a matte finish and looks pretty good. That matte finish gives it some texture that it would need for it to not look like she's wearing just a latex suit. So good kind of mix of textures on her. Hair also looks pretty good. The sculpt is great, minus the seam. Hair looks really good. That's the kind of effect I like, where I believe she's got some translucent plastic that's been painted. I think that's the best look for the hair in these series. Jean Grey, I just grabbed her off the shelf, and we'll see her in a second for a size comparison. She kind of missed out on that, and I think I don't really care for it as a result. Her hair's too clear. I like this this version here, this type of hair. The painted clear plastic looks good. Now, Lockheed. Lockheed is good, but not great. I like him. He looks good. It just there's something about him that rubs me the wrong way. I feel like he could be a little more detailed. He feels a little slapdash to me, but for just a little add-on that gets clipped onto her arm, pretty good. Also, his wings don't really quite look like they do in the illustration. I think they were kind of bent out of shape in the box, so I'm going to actually try to fix this by put them in some boiling water and see if they kind of spring back to their original shape. I'm going to do that right now, and we'll see if that makes any difference. All right, well, I think that turned out pretty well. Actually bent them a little more past, I think, what maybe their neutral spot was, but I think it looks better as a result. So if you like the way that looks, I suggest you try boiling up some water and dipping them in. So, well, it makes me like him a little bit more. But when I was saying earlier that he seemed a little slapdash, it seems like the paint scheme, or the paint, not fantastic. The sculpt's pretty good. I feel like someone that's handy with an airbrush, or maybe had some good dry brushing technique, could probably make him look a little better than he does here. But as kind of an add-on for her, can't really complain. Certainly better with him than without him, that's for sure. And I guess that's kind of a weird statement. I do like Lockheed. I'm glad they included him in here, and I think they did a good job with him. I don't know, I feel like, I don't know, I think they could have done a better job if they wanted to. That's what I feel like. I think Koto's capable of better than what they've done here. Not to say that it's bad, I just, I don't know, I feel like, not their best work. Anywho, I like, her sculpt's pretty good. Her body's shaped a little weird. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Her hips got some pretty good dimples on them. Like they kind of come in there on the sides. And then I guess the last thing I kind of want to talk about is her base is wholly unimpressive. There's nothing to be impressed about here. At least they gave it some kind of texture, but there's a super small, super thin base, and I actually like the fact that it's kind of a smaller base. For me, I'm running out of shelf space for these statues pretty damn quick. So a smaller base is kind of ideal for me. But something a little better than this. I mean, that's pretty much nothing. I don't know, it's maybe a step up above Mystique's, maybe not. Mystique's is just a clear platform, essentially. It's just a little thing for her to sit on. At least it's not something. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. I don't know, a little unimpressive with the base. Again, her phasing through something would have been ideal, and I have to imagine they decided against that. There's no way it didn't come up. As if this is anything like there's more than one person involved in the design of these things, and it seems like there's at least a couple, Shunya and the sculptor. Someone else has got to be making the decision on these, and maybe it's just a cost thing. I don't know. Boy, Lockheed doesn't really want to stay on anymore. I think I made his claws a little too open or something. I think he's going to have to take another bath here in a second. But I don't know. It's a little disappointing. Just the fact that she's not phasing through something, and she should have a decent base. But all in all, I'm still happy with her. I'm glad they did her. I wouldn't have guessed Shadowcat would be it, but then again, I wouldn't have guessed Scarlet Witch would be one of the first ones they ever did. But they did. So all in all, like I say, very happy with this one. Going to get some her fellow X-Men out here so we can get a size comparison and see what she looks like next to her cohorts. Alright, so here she is. You'll notice I'm missing a couple of X-ladies. I got Mystique, but not, she's not an X-Man. And I'm not counting Scarlet Witch neither. But that being said, I'm still short one White Queen and one Psylocke. Psylocke I've never liked. I like Psylocke. I don't like the statue. Their first one. I'm actually one of the people that are really excited about them remaking Psylocke and doing an X-Force version. My dream is to have all X-Force Bishoujo. The new X-Force got Psylocke and Spiral, and a Storm, and X-Force Storm is, I really like her design for the new X-Force. So I would be thrilled if they made Bishoujo based on it. Same goes with the new X-Men team. That's all female, led by Storm, and those would be cool if they could get those characters in there. Now they're kind of going through all the main characters. They're starting to remake some figures. They just showed the illustration for the new Wonder Woman. Not really sure how I feel about that one. I like it. It doesn't feel different enough to justify a new figure entirely. But they called it the armor version. I expected to see a little more armor than there was. Anyway, I'm hoping they redo the 1/7 scale figures they did. Rogue. I think Rogue is right. I think they just redid this one as 1/7. These are 1/8. Excuse me. I want them to redo the 1/8 scale. This is a great sculpt. I love that Rogue. It's great. I don't think they need to change it, but if they made it a little bigger, that'd be sweet. Same with Phoenix. Phoenix looks good. I think Phoenix is one of the best Bishoujos still, just kind of design-wise. She looks amazing. But let's get some proper size going on. And if they have to do secondary versions, great. Let's get them. Let's get them going. Anywho, here are the X-Girls that I have amassed thus far. Comic-Con's coming up. This will be my last review I post before Comic-Con. I'm looking to get White Queen. I'm hoping I can pick up Emma Frost while I'm there for a reasonable price. And maybe Agent G. I have no interest in getting that Bishoujo statue. I don't care about Men in Black, but if I find a decent price for her, maybe something less than $50, I might be tempted to pick her up. But we'll see. A bunch of stuff. I'm planning on buying a bunch of stuff at Comic-Con. I'm a little on the fence about the Harley Quinn Bishoujo, but I'm sure once I see her, I'll end up pulling the trigger. But we'll see. But any of those things I get, I'm sure I'll be doing reviews for. And again, follow me on Tumblr. That at least I'll be updating throughout Comic-Con, and I get some followers. Provided I get some followers. As of right now, I have maybe a couple, because I just haven't been using it. I hope that's the reason I only have a couple. But if I get a couple, at least I'll post stuff throughout Comic-Con. Stuff that I see that excites me. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember, give me a thumbs up, rate me, help me get more views if you can. If you like this, share it with your friends, post it to your Facebook, do all that nonsense, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.